Hey everybody, this is Aaron Chandler, coming with the presentation about Chapter 18 in our good book, Congress Reconsidered. So basically, Chapter 18 is titled Congress in the Age of Trump. So this section was talking about not only the election in 2016, but also the how the election impacted the Congress's relationship with the executive branch, and also moving forward, like how Trump reacted to the Congress, how they, got the work done that they did, and things like that. So, obviously, it started off talking about the race in 2016 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So, we all know Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, and the book did a lot of talking about how people would use the popular vote argument to say, this isn't a mandate of the Republican Party, and the Republicans did not win, as big as they feel like they did. But when you look at what happened in 2016, they actually won that election. They won the Senate, the House, and the White House. And then they ended up adding more Supreme Court seats. So they had a conservative lean on the court as well. So they had control of every single part of our government. Good or bad, they did win. They did. The book also talks about the ineffectiveness of the Congress underneath Trump when they had those majorities. If you look at the time frame, that they were in office when Trump first got elected, you had Paul Ryan running the Senate, Paul Ryan running the House, Mitch McConnell running the Senate. A lot of the bills that they tried to put through, like, for example, the repeal of Obamacare, they seriously struggled with those, even though they could have just voted on anything they wanted and passed it day one. They could have passed anything if all the Republicans were on board. But a lot of the time, they actually struggled to get things passed because there was not a lot of consensus on some of the policies that the Republican Party was trying to pass. So even though they still passed the tax cut and, Trump pulled us out of some of the agreements like the Paris Climate Accords and NAFTA and things like that. But the book also kind of went into talks about the Clintons and how Bill Clinton also had a divided Congress, but he was a lot more effective in a lot of the things that he was trying to pass. If you guys remember, we actually had a surplus under Bill Clinton when he was the president of the United States. A lot of the things that were passed back then, for example, NAFTA, there was a lot more of a bipartisan consensus. We've seen both parties, as I've kind of talked with you guys in the discussions before, both parties have kind of gone to their respective corners. Good or bad, when the parties are in their respective corners, a lot of times, a lot of the work that needs to get done does not get done. So, you really see a big divide amongst the parties. Now, in the case of the Congress, when Trump first got in office, he had a majority in both houses. So it was a lot easier for them to be in their corner, but still get the things that they wanted accomplished if they could come to a consensus. For example, the tax cut bill that the Republicans passed. It didn't get a single Democratic vote. It was a lot of back and forth about that, and then they ended up passing it. So, some people like the bill, some people don't, whatever the case may be. 82% of the benefits went to the top 1% on that bill, but it was intended to boost the markets and help corporations so that they could, I guess, lower their tax burden so they'd be more willing to pay raises and things like that, boost the economy. So another thing that the chapter talked about, this is actually the most interesting section of the entire chapter, in my opinion, was the difference in diversity, differences in party diversity in the House and the Senate. So as you guys probably already know, the Democratic Party is a lot more diverse where it comes to gender as well as race. So you have a lot of, and in 2016, it was actually a extremely big year for women to get elected to the Congress because we saw a giant spike